All right, let's talk about construction. For centuries, we've built things pretty much the same way. But what if there's a better way? Today, we're going to break down an approach that promises to be stronger, faster, and, well, just plain smarter. So let's just start with a question that I'm sure has crossed your mind if you've ever thought about building a house. Why is it still so incredibly slow, so expensive, and honestly, so complicated? It feels like not much has really changed in 100 years, right? Well, what if I told you that you could build a home that's not just stronger and more resilient, but you could do it in a tiny fraction of the time? That's the big idea we're looking at today. It's the whole concept behind a company called Plaid, and we're going to unpack exactly how they're doing it. Okay, so before we jump into the solution, we've got to understand the problem. Let's really look at the headaches that come with the way we build right now. Think about it. Building a house the old-fashioned way, with concrete or wood right there on the lot, it's a constant fight. A rainstorm can shut you down for days, maybe weeks. That messes up your timeline and, you guessed it, your budget. And on top of that, you've got material waste, and it's just tough to guarantee quality when you're out in the open. It's kind of inefficient, to say the least. So what's the answer? Well, it's not just about using a different kind of nail or a new type of wood. It's about a total shift in thinking, a whole new philosophy of building. Let's talk about the modular revolution. Modular construction sounds fancy, but the core idea is actually pretty simple. Instead of building piece by piece on site, you build entire sections of a building, we call them modules, inside a factory. Yeah, a factory. Think of it like giant, high-tech Lego blocks for houses. Because it's indoors, you completely eliminate weather delays, and you get this incredible precision that's just not possible on a muddy job site. Then you just ship them out and put them together. But, and this is a big but, not all modular is created equal. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's dig into what Plaid is doing differently, specifically with their steel frame approach. Okay, this right here is a total game changer. With traditional building, it's step 1, then step 2, then step 3. Everything happens one after the other. But with Plaid's method, you can do things at the same time. While the crew is pouring the foundation on site, the actual house is being built in a factory miles away. It's this parallel process that just crushes the timeline, letting them deploy up to 85% faster. It's just wildly efficient. All right, let's look at the hard numbers, because this is where the difference becomes crystal clear. We're not just comparing Plaid to traditional building here, but to other prefab options you might have seen online. And it's not even close. We're talking about structures built to the Miami-Dade Code. That's one of the toughest in the country for hurricane safety. These are permanent homes with a lifespan of 50 to 100 years. That's a whole different universe from the temporary shed-like stuff you might see elsewhere. Okay, let's just pause on this number for a second. 185 miles per hour. That's the kind of wind speed we're talking about, what these homes are engineered to handle. To put that in perspective, that's Category 5 hurricane territory. This isn't just a marketing claim, it's certified, it's engineered, and it's built to meet the Florida Building Code, which is no joke. And we're back to that mind-boggling speed advantage, up to 85% faster. Think about what that really means. For a family waiting for a home, or a community desperate for housing, or a developer trying to get a project done, that kind of speed changes everything. It completely rewrites the financial equation of building. 50 plus years. This number right here is what separates the real deal from the temporary fixes. We're talking about permanent infrastructure, homes built to last for generations, not just a few years. So you're probably wondering, how on earth do they make them so strong? Well, it all starts with the foundation. Literally, every single module is built on this beast, an all-welded, galvanized steel chassis. We're not talking about a flimsy wood frame here. This is a solid, structural steel base that gives it incredible strength and stiffness from the get-go. Okay, so you've got that super strong steel frame. What's next? You build on top of it with these high-tech insulated panels for the walls and the roof. They're basically a sandwich of materials with super dense foam inside. What this does is create a really tight, sealed home, an energy-efficient envelope, as they call it. And that means your heating and cooling bills are going to be a lot lower. And once these modules are all finished in the factory, we're talking plumbing, electrical, everything already inside, they get loaded up and shipped to the site. At that point, it's really more like an assembly job than a construction project. It just simplifies everything that has to happen on site. All right, the numbers are impressive, for sure. But what does this actually look like when you put it all together?
They desperately needed a new building, but you know the drill. The time and money it would take to build one the traditional way were just huge roadblocks.
So what did they do? They went modular. And this is such a great example of how flexible this approach really is. Because the building is made of modules, they have options down the road. They can move it, change it, or even sell it when they eventually build a permanent structure. It's a smart asset, not just a pile of bricks.
And take a look at the results. This is not some temporary classroom trailer. This is a 6,000 square foot, two-story community center. It's the first of its kind in Israel using this type of steel modular tech. And it just proves that modular doesn't mean small or flimsy. You can build substantial, high-quality, permanent buildings this way.
So when you put it all together, what does this mean for the future of building? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. So let's just boil it down. What are the big takeaways here? First, it's stronger. We're talking grade 9 earthquakes and 185-mile-per-hour winds. Second, it's way faster, up to 85% faster. Third, it's smarter, meaning it's more cost-effective than building with concrete and wood the old way. And finally, it's sustainable. You get an energy-efficient home that's truly built to last.
And that really leaves us with one big question. As we look at the future and the huge need for housing that's affordable, that's tough, and that's sustainable, the question really isn't if we can build this way anymore. The real question is, can we afford not to? Could these high-performance, factory-built homes be the new normal?